Test, test. All right. Okay. Test, test. Let's see here. All right. Very nice. Welcome, everybody. Just give me a minute, okay? I just have to grab something. Namely, an iced tea. Is this loud enough for you? Hey, how you doing, man? Is this loud enough for you, you think? Okay, perfect. Great. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. All right. Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. I was just reading that note you put. Absolutely. So if I really have nothing much to say other than um, the strength of words, and words are very important. That's why when used sparingly, there's much more power. One word you've heard a lot of in the last, it happens, comes back with all these events that happen. It's mass. It's also associated with this day, mass, MASS. All right. What's interesting about mass is that, broken down, and I've talked to you about the code understanding about the Zion or the mind, the seven, the crooked stick, that that mass breaks down to seven. And of course it does, because that is just the way that this place works. It's all just a mathematical equation at the end of the day. If you're going to look at it in its most basic form, and I would like to look at it as a schematic, and it's just in that form. It's just a mathematical problem to solve. So, um, but then you run into that's on the let's just say that's if we're all sitting in the room now, we're talking, we can talk like that. However, if you're out there in public and you bring something up like this, there is the reaction. And when I say reaction, there is it is a reaction. It is not a thought out position, or it's not a proved position. It is just a reaction to a tone that they heard. So then you go out into the public, and then you have to react to all this. That is why at times like this, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. At times like this, I stay out of the public, because it is absolute noise to me when I hear people false witnessing death. It is the worst sound that I can imagine, because those people are spiritually murdering those around them. And I unfortunately, I have to, put up with that. And so then I don't go out there, because I make sure I don't do that. So yeah, so how's everybody doing? Take a look at your, see if there's any, yeah, actors, man. That's another word that's always used, um, especially because a lot of people are entertained by actors, whether it be in movies or TV or stage play. But they're also entertained by actors at work, certain people who act certain ways, Oh, that's just whoever, that's just the way he is or she is. They're acting. You have no idea if that's that real person, you know, or if they're just acting. So people are acting all the time. However, when something is real, when something has happened to you, your actions, and I said actions, I didn't say reactions. I said your actions after that point are real because you're not acting them out, right? So there's words are very powerful in that they're used and people do not understand what they're hearing. So they're reacting to ignorance. And even if you use the word ignorant, people confuse that with stupid. It's not. So, yeah. Oh, somebody was asking where all my videos went. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. One, the channels, YouTube just takes them down. If you hit a certain point, or if you say too much about a certain subject, they're going to get you. And it happens through different groups, depending on what you're talking about. I remember with when I did the 6-day war hoax, I did a 5 or 6 part series, man. it was one of the, anyways, I enjoyed putting that one together. I still remember it fondly. But the ADL actually came after that, and I was put onto a list. I was put onto some Anti-Defamation League list, and anyways, once you're on that list, they'll take your stuff's gone, and everybody applauds, So then that happened with that. But what's funny is about a year ago, no, maybe more than that, they started coming after the war as a hoax videos, and what that led to, and that's really important because it leads into what's happening currently with migration and things like that. But I'll go back to that. With the war as a hoax videos, you understand that you have these parading armies going around, strategic relocating, doing controlled demolition, living life as that happens, camping out in jungles and whatnot. And yeah, it sucks, but it's not war as it was sold to you. And that's important because then you come into the idea of when you're at so-called peace, you then turn those same type of forced migrations or relocations into caravans now. So now they become, it's just a polarity change. So if you're at war, the so-called people coming away from that conflict are refugees and are to be accepted with open arms. And then when the polarity change happens, they are, mindless hordes, diseased, overcharging your borders, and they are to be shunned. So you see how this is always a yin-yang type of back and forth polarity thing, no matter what you're talking about. And I've talked to you about this before, about this existence not being this, how they'll tell you in so-called science, a particle existence. This is a wave waveform existence, meaning that everything is created by the command of God, the creation. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, right? So then that's a waveform. So if you then understand that creation is a waveform, and everything that emanates from that waveform is a waveform, then you start to change your understanding of this place we live in, and you understand that the voice that we use, the tongue, creates a waveform and it has power. And when it is used to speak the truth out into this existence, it is heard and it is understood by those who are receptive to hearing the truth. Those that are rebellious still, those that are still living in the world and have decided on their own that they know it, they will not receive your witness or your testimony because it sounds foreign to them, or it goes against everything they want to believe. And I've told you before, the truth doesn't care if anybody believes it. It is what it is, regardless. However, these lies require people to believe in them. So they put out a story. And then guess what? That story has nothing to it. It has no life. It is an empty vessel until people believe in it. And people's belief in it gives it life because of their power they give to it. And then you have all the memorials and all the little silly nonsense with candles and just all the stupidity that follows that absolutely drives me crazy. And see, that's the thing I'm working on still. Because I'm pretty, over the last couple of years, I've calmed down. Those of you who've been around know years ago I was a little bit more, let's just say, excitable. And I've been trying to calm it down, but that stuff right there drives me insane because they have people. They have actual people with their own God-given peace of mind walking amongst them, and they are corrupting them with these false witness waves of death. They are destroying these people's peace, and they think they're doing a good thing. Because light came into the world, and men did not like it because they wanted the darkness. So all their deeds were evil. That's what that's about. Yes, peace of mind, baby, because that is where you live. It's like, I was just thinking today, and this, I have to go somewhere tomorrow. And I was thinking, man, I don't want to go there tomorrow. Not because I don't want to go and do that thing. It's just that I was planning to do something else. I was wanting to think about something at that time. So when I think about something, it takes time. So I was like, man, I wish that I could just send my body that way and keep my peace of mind here, just to study this thing I'm working on right now. And it, of course, it deals with waveform. But of course, that's where this life, and this is getting to a question somebody asked me: how do you understand what you understand and still live in the world? All right, through work or whatever you have to do. One, nothing's guaranteed. If you go to a place and people constantly talk about this stuff, and you don't stand up and say, no, that's not true, or this is not true, then that's your fault, however. But you can find places of work and things that you can do that you don't have to put up with that. So that, as you understand the truth, the amount of people that accept you for who you are may or may not change. But where I currently work, I am who I am right now with you. That's who I am, regardless of when you meet me or where you meet me. And that's understood, so everything's great. However, if I decided, let's say if you decided that you don't want to live the existence kind of at the lowest levels of this so-called society, and you wanted to move up the chain and move into, move into money, making a lot of money, the higher you move up, and this is in general, this is, there's of course, things you can do on the side that this doesn't apply to, but in general, if you're within this, societal framework of work, you'll move up the chain, and as you move up the chain, you have to stop being you, and you have to then start representing a corporation, meaning that you have to put on a cloak of another character. That's who you become. So it's like, if you, and then so you hear people say, oh, if you meet me outside of work, I'm different. Well, why is that? I don't understand that, right? But then that just goes into, again, what are you willing to do? If you're willing to suck it up every day, then you can put up with that type of stuff. I can't put up with it. I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. I'd be like, okay, we're done. Bye. See ya. And they're like, who is that? Right? He worked here for 5 minutes, and I brought up that thing, and he said bye, and he left. Well, yeah, that was me, because I just couldn't do it no more. Right? So anyways, like I say, there's no guarantees, but you are, and this is me, and I'm speaking for myself, because again, I've told you before that this is an individual journey through this place, right? Because that path, that narrow path, it allows you to go down it, because you must have your mind committed to your path. Otherwise, why are you telling other people about it? If you don't understand it, then why are you talking? Why aren't you learning? Right? So anyways, again, I'm trying to settle down. I'll see if anybody's got any questions here. Because I have really nothing to say, as far as, you already know what I'm going to say about what's going on out there. And I would say it, but they would, and I'm itching to say it. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but they'll use that to scrap this video, because that's just the way it works now. So again, that's giving Rome its due, saying that they know. And in fact, if I said, what am I thinking right now, if I had to describe what was happening, right, you would already know, so I don't need to waste my time. So anybody have anything else going on you'd like to know about, hear about? Okay, tell us about Christ. Yep. Well, what he promised was that when you were given the Spirit of God, that you would do greater things than he. That's what he said. So then I say, in Christ, when I pray, I ask to do greater things, and I ask to understand what those greater things are. And as I go through and I learn different things, I don't know what greater things are, but I guess what? Around with my existence, I've never been in such great company as Jesus Christ, because he is my Lord and Savior. He is the one who gave me life. He's the one who rescued me from my ignorance. I was born into a sea of forgetfulness. He pulled me out. He said, why do you doubt? Why do you doubt? And I said, because I'll tell you why I doubt. I doubt because every time I see a church, I see a bunch of hypocrites in there. I see a bunch of money grubbers. I see a bunch of liars. I see a bunch of false witnesses of death, and they're claiming to be your servants. That's why I doubt. And then I get an answer. He says, well, can I show you something? And of course, that's when I gave into Christ. That's when I yelled at, I said, if you are real, and that's when I'm yelling at the sky. If you are real, then you show me you are real. Right? And then anyways, later that night, I'm brought into Christ. He brings me, he gives me the Spirit of God. He gives me that Spirit of God. He gives me his Christ mind. And let me tell you something. I understood the corruption I was living in. I understood that those people were not representing Christ, but they were in fact representing their own fallen interests. So then I said to myself, I'm going to walk this path straight and narrow. I am going to do my own work. I'm going to do my own observations. I'm going to put out my own witness of this place that I exist. I'm going to say, where am I grounded? Right? If I cannot describe the ground that I stand on, then why am I talking to you about anything else? Because I can't even do that. So I need to understand the ground I stand on, and I can describe that to you through observation. I can tell you about what I discovered. Not because it was there and I manufactured it. It was always there because it's the truth. And it will always be there for anybody else who searches. Because if you seek, you will find. Right? So that's how I came to Christ. So then you want me to tell you about Christ? That's what I can tell you. And guess what? He didn't say, Dave, you're going to do greater things. He said, all of you are going to do greater things. So then all of you, as you return to God naked, and I told you this. I told you that this happened to me when I was going to end it all. And that's what's called suicide, right? And I told you that because that's when you're at the bottom. And that's when you return to God naked. And you return to God naked with nothing. And you say, I don't understand. And that's when it happens. All right. So you're wondering why you might be fuzzy minded, or you're seeing through the glass, darkly. That is because part of your mind is still engaged in the world, and you can't serve two masters. It just doesn't happen. Right. Somebody asks, is it wrong to commit suicide? Generally curious to hear your thoughts. Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's wrong. At the time that I was going to do it, I felt that it was the right thing to do. So, I can only tell you up to that point. But when I thought it was the right thing to do, and I was about to do it, inside of me, that spirit inside of me, that light, kindled and said, no, don't do it. So then I can only tell you that happened to me. And then that's, of course, where the relationship started. That's where that light was brought into me. And I tell you what, you see it happen. You see it in what is considered your mind, that space. You see it happen when it happens. You know when it happens. Because you're changed. You are absolutely changed. And what's interesting about being changed is it gives you abilities you didn't know you had before, which is public speaking, or being able to talk to people about different things once they're engaged in the truth. Because I spend no time with liars and those that refuse to understand where they're living. I don't spend time with them because they are a waste of my time, and time is quite valuable. But when they're ready to understand the truth, I have all the time I have all my time for them at that point. You see how that changes. But it's you don't throw your pearls to the swine. That's another understanding. Some of you may have heard it that way. There's the same understanding. So let's see if anybody else had a question here. Yeah, I'm working with stuff on tones, Barry, and because I told you everything's waveform. Just like if you throw a pebble into the pond, that's a waveform. And if you study that waveform, you can actually tell how heavy that rock was that was thrown in. So you can glean a truth from a wave. So that's the type of stuff I'm looking into. Not because, like I say, it's not because it's already there. What I'm trying to do is I want a better description of what happens. It's already there, but it's revealed to you how to see it. And then once it's revealed to you, that's through revelation. That's true revelation. Once it's revealed to you through the Spirit of God, you now have the eyes to see that thing that you're studying. So if you and I walk out, and I don't mean to pick on anyone in particular, but if I look up at the sky at night, I just have to tell you I'm looking at something completely different than what most people see when they look up, and that's because of the study and the understanding of what's going on. But that's there for everybody to see. But like I say, it is if you serve two masters, and part of your mind is still corrupted by what this world put into it, then it won't be, you cannot see the truth through that kind of dark glass. You know? Yeah. Uh, yeah, well, yeah. People are putting some quotes in, great stuff. Where do all? Somebody asked me about blood donations. You know what? I don't know anything about that. I know that they collect a lot of blood. That's for darn sure. And what happens to it, I just don't know. But you know what? Blood is a medium, and blood itself is a conductor of power. So that's something I really don't know where I'd start to look into that, but I can just in look at the medium itself, what blood is and what its characteristics are, and what can be done with it. I don't know what, something like that. Maybe there's something weird going on there. I just don't know. I think that's nuts, man. 1983, that blood over in town. It's just there is no. It's another offering. There is no offering. You have to give nothing. There's no offering. You don't need to slit your fingers, and enough with all that. Yeah, they do collect a lot of blood. I don't, but it's an industry. You create an industry, and that's another thing. Let's think about this. Let's think about this a little bit. Let's reason together on this. Blood is something that's produced by people every day, right? Within your own body, you replenish blood. All right, so it's always going to be there. So you collect it. All that all that's all employment. You employ all those people who are required to handle everything. Yeah, all those directors. All that's another industry. It's all an industry. The blood goes through the little thing. If it's used, great. If it's not used and it's chucked, who cares really? It's already made all its money. So they could really, at the end of the day, throw it in the garbage and it still served its purpose. So, so everything's a business. You got to know that. Come on, you live in a fallen existence. We live in these little fiefdoms called towns, and corporations incorporated whatever year it says. They're little fiefdoms, and you're at the mercy of the local tax cheats and everybody else. Well, in this town we want 8% from you. In this town we want 6 point whatever. It's okay, great, whatever. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Well, let's not pretend. Let's stop pretending that we live in anything but a fallen place with a bunch of con artists running the place. So nobody got anything to say, huh? Looks like we got the vampire crowd in here for some reason. Oh, okay, Brandon, cool. Yeah, so like I was saying, just someone next has asked what do I see up there? Uh, what's the best description? It's just a series of wheels, really, and it's an understanding that the sky above you is a clock. Hold on, somebody was in the room. Hold on.
Oh, hey guys, what's up, man? Yeah, Dave. Yeah, see you guys.
Okay, hey Pompo, he was just passing by. So, anyways, yeah, he was there just from he was passing by. He's got something to do. Yeah. So, anyways, the sky is a calendar. It gives you, you have the moon light, which is for times and seasons. You have the sun light, which is your full spectrum light for growth and all that good stuff. You have your star lights, which are there, to give you your time of year. That's what that's there for. You're not blasting rockets off into space. You're not landing people onto moons because there's not one there. You're not sending things out into deep orbit because space itself does not exist. It's just right above your head, man. It's right there. It's they serve their purpose perfectly, right? See, if all this was known, if all this was actually known and put out, and people's lives would be so simplified, man. You have to understand that, because with all this understanding, a peace is brought upon you that you lose love with that fake world, because you're in love with the truth, and that's brought to you by Jesus Christ, right? So it's all good. All right. So, anyways, it's been fun. All right. Just keep it easy. I don't know what all that stuff's about. Something's going to happen. Yes, something happens every day. So, all right. So, we'll talk to you all soon. All right. Be blessed. Be easy. All right. Love your neighbor and all that good stuff. All right. Cheers. Bye bye.